Hi everyone, my name is Rodney. I'm here with BoardGameGeek at SPIEL 2019. I've been joined by Phil and Jon of Ion Game Design and Sierra Madre
Games.
Right, and you have brought with you BIOS Origins.
Yes, this is a culmination of the BIOS trilogy, where you start with life as protoplasm, then life as dinosaurs or megafauna,
right,
and now this is the third and triumphant phase, life as intelligent and conscious creatures able to make technological advances.
And you've somehow managed to fit all of this into this box. I'm assuming the depth of the box is like this, though, must be, right? It's the only explanation. All right, well, okay, so give me a sense here of what we're doing now that we've reached the origins of the species.
Yes, well, it starts at least 200,000 years ago, much earlier than other civilization games. So humans are not even really human at this point. At least they don't have attributes you would consider humans, such as multi-component tools, or
like
cave paintings,
or they only have singular component tools.
Okay.
Yes, Stone Age.
These components do not come with the game, I'm sorry to say.
Good that you pointed out.
Yes, okay. Okay, I'll behave myself.
Okay. So the object of the game basically is to try to develop into something resembling humanity. So we've got brain maps for this purpose. We also have up to 4 subspecies of humans that were alive during that time. For instance, we've got here set up Sapiens versus Neanderthal. But you can also have Homo florensis, a hobbit, or the Denisovans. So it's up to 4 players.
4 players, yes. Right. And there's also in the rules solo version and co-op versions, various kinds. There are a lot of options in the game.
Right. So competitive, solo, and cooperative.
Yeah.
All 3. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is possible because of the Octobahn style or roller coaster style of the game, which you're competing against a harsh environment and climate change as much as with each other. So that facilitates cooperative and solitaire play because of
other threats and dangers.
Yes. You're trying to beat the game as well as the others.
Okay. Well, I see we have a big map here. So are we spreading across the planet at the same time?
Yes. So in this case, we're starting with the Sapiens out of Africa scenario, and the Neanderthals in this scenario starting in Europe.
Right.
And you spread out from there. It's possible to invade the New World, either across the land bridge, or conceivably you could get enough maritime skills to cross the Atlantic or even the Pacific. So there's various ways that civilizations could develop. The New World and Old World could flop roles. You could have a highly developed Western civilization starting like we had in our last play test here in Australia and in South Americas, where civilization, agriculture, and a lot of the other advances got started.
So these are tech trees of sorts.
Right.
And what you do, you develop your brain and unlock these elders that you then invest in different ideas, such as glue or pit-fired oven or these ones. You take them into your hand or your splay or your
tableau.
Tableau. And
here.
then when you do that, when it's your turn, each time it's your turn, this is what you go through. 1 action per card, and by that you populate the map. You increase these ones to be able to do other stuff, and eventually, and you can build cities, and eventually, these are 3 areas where you get points. So you add up the points here. So, for example, 7 plus 4 plus 1, and then you might have bonus points up here.
Sure.
And here we're 2 plus 2 plus 2. So fairly simple, and you choose your highest, and the one you compare to the others chosen highest. And
gotcha. So advancing on the tracks is advancing towards your victory.
And you have 3 different tracks to go for, so it's a web of opportunities.
Yes, you could end up with a mystic sitting on Australia or New Zealand, winning the game in the culture sphere, even though his opponents have swept the world with their armies. It just depends on which of the 3 accumulates the most points. So the Dalai Lama could win over Attila the Hun, for instance,
Yeah,
possibly.
because he might sit there and be very religious or and then
Super
have
religious.
super know stuff, and then, well, that will compete against the others because he's gone far in one domain.
Right. So on a typical turn, then, it sounds like you said you're resolving actions from your tableau.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? You pick a particular track and
So yeah, you do.
Well, you've got, I should mention, you have ruling class, that and ruling class could either be culture, politics, or industry. So you
Yes.
concentrate only in your ruling class. You go from the bottom up, and each card in here, either foundations or ideas, give you more cool stuff to do. So you're always trying to get
Okay.
more cool stuff. But the ruling class could revolt, or you may change it through a voluntary revolution to new ones,
Yes.
because you start to stagnate, to give you better possibilities here.
And the game is driven, as all the 3 BIOS games, is driven by an event card. So you have events,
Right.
which in this game is something you can choose to do. You can choose to challenge the gods.
Yeah.
Try to get an event, and things things may happen from here. You build foundations, and that's after a number of events, the game ends.
And okay. How long does a game like this take to play usually? Assuming, let's say, players know how to play reasonably well.
I would say, depending on how many players you are, 2 to 4 hours.
Right. And it looks like, based on all the different varieties here, you're going to have a little bit of a narrative that's going to emerge as you play, right? Shaping your cultures.
And I think that's, I have to say this because I really like something that both me and Phil shares.
Right.
We like to take a theme, research it, or do stuff from it, and then not paint it with some this to have something this painted over mechanics. Instead, we have the theme, and we tailor the mechanics from the theme. So that's why it's a lot of stuff going on. But once you learn that, it's the core gameplay is just challenge the gods if you want, and then take your actions. That's it.
And you start with fewer actions, and it gets more as the game goes on.
Yeah, you start
so
with
sort
just
of
2
ramp
actions,
up, right?
and then you move on. And then also, I would like to mention that the back side of the map
Sure, flip it.
is totally open ocean, so you can build your own world, or have the world from the previous game BIOS Megafauna imported here.
Right. Wow. Well,
And you get tiles to build it in the game.
That is clearly just scratching the surface here of this game. But I really appreciate the overview, and I think it gives people a taste of what they can expect from the game, and can dig in more of it.
I'd like to mention, if I have time,
Oh, you have no time, but go ahead.
just that our last playtest that we came here from, if we had a case where the Neanderthals, the politicians, were in charge, they became uber aggressive. They swept all of Eurasia. There were hobbit tons that were burned down, the banana village, and they were able to torture hobbits and extract information. But the hobbits are rebuilding in Australia for a comeback. They've now become military after all these setbacks, and they domesticated combat kangaroos to stage their comeback.
This is the picture I imagine the game painting as you describe it here. It sounds fascinating. It really does.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much again for the overview, and all of you, thanks for joining us and watching.